Don't be afraid to give your best to what seemingly are small jobs. Every time you conquer one, it makes you that much stronger. If you do the little jobs well, the big ones will tend to take care of themselves. An interesting quote from noted motivational author Dale Carnegie, and something we hope you'll bear in mind as we open the pages of Jamaica Magazine. Welcome. Today, our major focus is on jobs. We'll show you how government created jobs and ensured economic growth in the last financial year. Plus, some public feedback on the new Superform, which has been making it easier to start a business. So please, stay tuned.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
Contractor, a trailer driver, no overload. Truck overload destroys our roads. I want to say, check your speed, check your state, make sure you're not overweight. Take the time to make it safe, even if you're little late. Some of the road they leany, sinky, twisty. Truck overload destroys our roads. So drive a heavy duty vehicle on the road or the bridge. Listen the message.
A message from the Island Traffic Authority and the National Road Maintenance Fund.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, April 8. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller has made a call for more manufacturers to return to exporting in order to drive economic growth.
Achieving the growth we need will require that we activate dormant exporters, expand our production base, and enable new entrepreneurs in the export sectors.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the opening of Expo 2014 on April 3. She said underserved niche markets must be filled and private sector umbrella groups such as the Jamaica Manufacturers Association and Jamaica Exporters Association were crucial partners to achieving this. Mrs. Simpson-Miller also encouraged sole traders, micro and small producers to formalize their operations and join a professional association to grow and expand their operations.
We must also focus on the authenticity of the Jamaican brand, the growing global market demand for our foods and beverages, fashion, fine art and craft, which are in high demand by overseas markets.
More than $1 billion will be spent this fiscal year to upgrade health facilities across the island. The allocation is outlined in the 2014-2015 estimates of expenditure that is now being reviewed by the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament. The project is being funded by the National Health Fund and is being implemented by the regional health authorities. Among other things, 5-story treatment facilities will be installed to serve 14 health facilities, 5 new medical waste trucks will be bought, and 4 cold storage facilities installed. 4 centers of excellence will also be completed and equipped, and 1 new child and adolescent mental health facility will be established at the Bustamante Hospital or an alternate site. The Health Ministry is also aiming to improve health record storage. Government is seeking to promote private sector investment in the energy sector by updating the regulatory framework, preparing projects for investment decisions, and increasing the contribution of renewable energy in electricity. $393.7 million has been allocated in this year's budget for the Energy Security and Efficiency Enhancement Project, which seeks to improve energy efficiency and security in key areas of the economy. The project is funded by the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development and is scheduled to be completed in June 2015. During the 2014-2015 fiscal year, feasibility studies for 4 potential hydro sites should be completed, while pre-feasibility and feasibility studies are to begin for 6 additional hydro sites. Government is also aiming to complete the communication and public education program for the implementation of the National Energy Policy and develop the national capacity for environmental management. The project also involves development of a regulatory database for performance benchmarking and the implementation of monitoring and benchmarking instruments at the Office of Utilities Regulation. The Jamaica Emergency Employment Program JEEP will be focusing on long-term development projects in the 2014-2015 financial year. In an interview with JIS News, Transport Works and Housing Minister Dr. Omar Davies gave an update on some of the projects.
We'll be beginning the redevelopment of the National Heroes Park. There's a housing which will continue. The pet recycling project, which is one I'm perhaps most excited about, where we're aiming at collecting about 1/3 of the plastic bottles which are distributed around.
Under the PET recycling project, which was launched in February of this year, 35% of plastic bottles will be reclaimed over the first 3 years. JEEP will contribute $50 million towards the project, while the private sector will contribute $23.5 million annually. About 300 jobs are expected to be created. For the housing component of JEEP, the Secretariat, in conjunction with Food for the Poor, has so far constructed nearly 1,200 units for individuals in the lower income bracket. And finally, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, and the police are assuring commuters that it's safe to use the public transport service. The assurance comes in the wake of a spate of attacks on buses plying routes 31 and 32 in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region Monday morning.
The 6 incidents, 5 of them involved JUTC units, but one did not affect any of our units, but affected one of the service routes, and that is Route 31.
JUTC's managing director says the incidents involved damage to 2 bus engines after the units were attacked. Meanwhile, service was interrupted in the vicinity of Pembroke Hall and Patrick City due to a roadblock, and 1 unit was stoned on Spanish Town Road. Mr. Campbell told reporters Monday afternoon that the affected buses were insured and would have been repaired overnight and put back into service on Tuesday. He said persons have since been arrested while the police are seeking the mastermind behind the attacks.
I want to assure our commuters that the service is safe, and we assure them that proper security arrangements are put in place. The routes are being patrolled by the police. The Transport Authority is out in its numbers.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
Businessmen and women, members of the MSMEs, no longer do you have to visit several government agencies to register a company or business name. Visit the COJ. They are willing and prepared to assist you in filling out the new business registration form, more commonly known as the Super Form.
The overwhelming response from the majority of our customers is, why did this take so long to happen? There are persons who actually waited until January 2nd to come here to do their business because they wanted to avoid going to multiple government departments.
Click on ocrjamaica.com for more details.
The 2014-2015 fiscal year is here. Come April 8 to 10, the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament will consider the estimates. Tune in as the Finance Minister opens the budget debate on April 17. Dr. Peter Phillips will be followed by the Opposition Spokesman on Finance on April 22 and Government and Opposition members on April 23. The Opposition Leader will make his contribution on April 24 and the Prime Minister makes her presentation on April 29. The budget debate will close on April 30 with the Finance Minister. It's the 2014-2015 budget debate. Stay informed and keep watching Jamaica Magazine.
Creating jobs and growing the economy, major priorities of the government this financial year. Indeed, the administration focused much attention on these areas in the last fiscal year as well. Let's recap some of those efforts and the rewards the country continues to reap.
For the first time in years, Jamaica is on track to record positive economic growth.
When government started the 2013-2014 financial year, it had a mission: create jobs and grow the economy. After 9 months, this happened.
We are reporting that an estimated growth in real GDP of 1.4% was recorded in the October to December 2013 quarter.
And we expect to end the fiscal year with growth somewhere between 0.7 and 1% of GDP.
To achieve that and position the economy to prosper beyond 2013-2014, several fundamental actions were taken. They were supported by the successful implementation of the IMF program, which allowed government to attract many of the investments needed to spur growth. A major component of the growth agenda was to make it easier to do business in Jamaica and enhance competitiveness. That was supported by several legislative and administrative changes, such as amending the Companies Act to create a one-stop shop for the registration of new companies and implementing an employment tax credit for unregulated companies and self-employed individuals who pay their tax returns early. The enactment of omnibus legislation also helped to level the playing field for businesses.
By committing to lower rates across the board and incentivizing production, whether the firms were large firms or small firms or medium-sized firms.
In executing its 2013-2014 agenda, government determined that economic growth had to be facilitated by the state but driven by the private sector. A policy document was created to govern support to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises.
This MSME entrepreneurship policy is the first intervention framework that offers coordinated, coherent and targeted support to the sector in an effort to expand its contribution to economic growth and development.
MSMEs also received more than $2 billion in loan funding through the Development Bank of Jamaica from April 2013 to February 2014. And as of January 2014, the Security Interests in Personal Property (SIP) registry is facilitating the financing of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Throughout the fiscal year, government also accelerated its land titling initiative to support entrepreneurial pursuits. Residents in St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Catherine are among many who were given not just security of tenure, but also viable collateral to make small business dreams a reality. Successful commerce needs a good transportation system grounded by solid infrastructure. So, many road and bridge improvement works were completed in the fiscal year. Then came a $630 million works contract.
And it will be spent on roads, retaining walls, drains, and sidewalks.
It's part of the Jeep component of government's major infrastructure development program. Main contractor China Harbour Engineering Company also continued the construction of the north-south leg of Highway 2000 and signed the framework agreement for the build-out of a shipping and logistics port on the island. Between April 1, 2013 and March 31, 2014, Jamaica also secured investments in several new and emerging sectors. A $500 million state-of-the-art rare earth elements plant was opened in October. New life was pumped into health and wellness tourism plans when the construction of a 22-bed hospital targeting tourists was announced for Western Jamaica.
This investment represents a tangible outcome of Jamaica's tourism master plan and the work of successive governments.
300 jobs will be created in the construction phase. In the meantime, traditional growth sectors like agriculture continued to stimulate employment.
Agriculture, forestry and fishing grew by an estimated 10%, reflecting the impact of improved weather conditions and the growth-inducing initiatives implemented by the government.
The flagship initiative was the 9 Agri-Parks project, which has already created more than 1,000 jobs and $36.3 million in earnings. Meanwhile, the successful Digital Jam event of 2012 connected many more young people to technology development opportunities and jobs in 2013 and the first half of 2014. A school infrastructure program and resuscitation of the National Council on Sport were among efforts to increase the contribution of sport to national development, while an entertainment registry was established to certify local entertainment practitioners, and the well-attended Arts in the Park facilitated contracts between local artists and international record labels. Underpinning all these efforts was the understanding that there needed to be harmonious relations between the state, labor, capital, and civil society. And this drove efforts that resulted in the historic signing of the Partnership for Jamaica Agreement in the second quarter of the fiscal year.
As of today, we make a shared commitment to move from dreams and visions to action. We have to grow our economy in order to accelerate national development.
That was the mission for fiscal year 2013-2014, one that will continue to be a priority in the ultimate goal of making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
The business registration form, or the super form, as it is popularly called, will assist persons to register their businesses easier. In that, persons will no longer have to visit all the other agencies. So, for instance, to get an NIS number, you have to visit the NIS office. To get a GCT or a TRN, you have to visit tax administration. What you will do is just come to the company's office and provide the information. And when the registration process is complete, you'll be registered for TCC, GCT, TRN, NIS. You'll be registered for NHT and HEART. There'll just be one registration at the company's office. So the company's office is like a one-stop shop for business registration.
That's just one perspective on how the new super form at the company's office has made business startup an easier process. Hear more views now in today's Outer Road.
It will help me as applying for a company, TRN, NIS, whatever. It will help me to go on the road.
I think once the processes are streamlined, it makes it easier for a person not to take so many hours out of a day to go to so many other entities, but to have everything in-house under one roof. I think it's really commendable, and it's a really good move.
It will lessen the congestion that is here, make the process more easily adapted to.
I think that's a good idea, because when you go to other different places, you get different information. So then you can't really,
Much faster, less complicated, because I know the old one. I know that a number of things have been combined on it. Therefore, it should make it easier for persons to go through the process.
I have not yet submitted any under the new system, but other persons speak favorably of it. They say that the waiting time and the rigmarole of going to other places, like for instance bill of sales and all of that.
If you can fill one form, it takes care of like 3 forms. That would be easier, much easier.
Did you know regular physical activity controls your weight, reduces your risk of cardiovascular diseases, reduces your risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, reduces your risk of some cancers, strengthens your bones and muscles, and increases your chance of living longer? Get active, get fit, stay healthy.
Yesterday was World Health Day. Countries all over the world staged activities under the theme Small Bite, Big Threat. If you're thinking the focus had something to do with mosquitoes, you guessed right. The World Health Organization declared that 40% of the world's population is at risk of contracting dengue. Watch now as we share some tips on how to keep your environment mosquito-free.
Hello? Hello?
Yes? May I help you?
Good day, ma'am. We're from the Public Health Department, Ministry of Health. We're in the community to get rid of mosquito breeding sites.
Mosquito breeding site? Not in this yard. We don't have any mosquito breeding here.
Well, actually, I see several containers and a whole tire over there that could possibly be the breeding site for mosquitoes. Possibly the Aedes aegypti mosquito, the one that causes dengue fever.
What? Aedes aegypti? Are you trying to tell me that the mosquito that you claim are in my yard are from Egypt in Africa?
No, ma'am. The mosquitoes are not from Egypt in Africa. That's just the scientific name. The important thing you need to know that if these mosquitoes bite us, they can make you get sick. We just want to make sure you and your family are safe.
All right, come in and look.
Miss Nancy.
Oi!
Please come here. You have some mosquito breeding in those containers over there and inside this drum.
Where are the mosquitoes you say you see here?
Look inside the drum. Those are the Aedes aegypti larvae, the one that causes dengue fever. If all of these larvae mature to be adults, and if the female larva bites someone with the dengue fever, it will acquire the dengue virus. And if that mosquito bites you, you will get it.
Dengue fever?
So why you look so? You never heard about dengue before?
Yes, they were telling us about it on radio and television last week. They say it's very dangerous, can cause death.
Well, actually, most forms are fairly mild. But you can die from dengue fever, especially if you get the dengue hemorrhagic fever.
Dengue hemorrhagic fever?
Or worse, dengue shock syndrome.
Oh. So, what can we do to get rid of this?
First of all, let's just get rid of all of these containers and mosquito breeding sites.
All right, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Come, let's clear up, clear up.
Now, you see this drum of water? There are several things you can do to prevent mosquitoes from breeding inside there. First thing you want to do, if you want to keep the water, you have to keep the drum closed.
Oh, you're telling me that I must always buy drums with cover?
Yes, it's very important to have drums with cover. That not only prevents mosquitoes from breeding inside, but it also ensures that you keep your water clean for use.
You know, you're right. I'm going to have to tell my friend Nettie about the same thing because she have a whole heap of drum over her yard without cover.
Please do that. Another thing I'm going to do for you is to treat the water.
Treat the water? You mean like you're going to boil the whole of the water? The only way I know to treat water is to boil it or pour bleach in it. That is what they were telling us about the other day when there was a spate of running belly going on in some parts of this country.
You're right. Those are the two methods of treating water for drinking. But for a large volume water like this, which you're going to use to wash clothes and other domestic use, you do not need to boil it or put bleach inside there.
Okay, so how you want to do it?
Well, this is A-bait sand granules. I'm going to put a little in the drum, and after a short while, it will kill all the larvae inside there. Then you can use the water.
A-bait and where I can get it to buy?
No, Miss Nancy, we're not encouraging you to buy this chemical.
Okay.
But I'm going to show you another means to get rid of mosquitoes.
What?
You have any cooking oil?
Yes, just a moment. Coming right back, yes.
Now, I'm going to throw a little cooking oil in the water. It will spread over the surface and it will prevent the larvae from getting air. If the larvae don't get air, they will die. Then your water will be safe.
You know, you're right. No living thing can exist without air. All right, listen to me. If I don't have cooking oil, can I use kerosene or petrol?
No, Miss Nancy. It is not good for you to use kerosene or petrol. They are flammable. That means they'll catch fire easily. That's very dangerous.
That is true. You know, I'm going to have to tell all my friends about this. Give them all this information.
Thanks for accommodating us.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to give you these leaflets. We give you all the information you need to know about dengue fever.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks very much. This will be very useful. Mosquito. 6 simple strategies. Cover all water storage tanks.
The Health Ministry is making every effort to reduce the mosquito population in Jamaica, but we must play our part in supporting those efforts. With the full cooperation of everyone, there will be a significant reduction in the breeding of mosquitoes, and this will minimize the risk of diseases. Remember, prevention is always better than cure.
Going for growth, creating opportunities, the theme of the Governor-General's throne speech last Thursday. It's the commitment of the government for this financial year, a pledge to grow the economy so all Jamaicans can have a better quality of life. Read the full throne speech on our website, jrs.gov.jm, then link us on our Facebook and Twitter platforms. For this edition of Jamaica Magazine, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.